Hello, we're here today with Mark Higgins from EUMETSAT, and we're going to be looking at the monthly weather movie for October.
Thank you, Neil. Just looking at the map in front of us, what we're looking at, we get each day as it comes past, and when it goes dark, that's the night. What we've got is what we call the Natural Colour RGB. It's a way of looking at the world from basically kind of what you'd see from space with a couple of changes. One of those changes, you'll notice a lot of the clouds are very blue. What that shows is ice. So the really cold, high up clouds, when the tops of them turn to ice, that's when you start to see these blue colours. And big storm systems, lots of heavy rain, that tends to be associated with having these blue cloud tops. You'll notice various things as we look at the whole European picture. So maybe you might say things like, well, the weather in Spain must have been quite nice because there wasn't so much cloud there. And you'll be watching now this big cloud system moving across Germany at the moment, possibly bringing rain. You'll see as well this big cloud system currently moving into the UK, and you can see how much it moves overnight when we can't see it. And here it comes back in. It's now probably just over the southern UK, and in this case bringing rain. So this is the morning of the 6th of October, and we're starting to see just in Sweden, in southern Sweden and coming into the Gulf of Bothnia, a lot of rain, and also some rain just starting to move over the coast of France. You'll see in southern UK, it was also very clear at this particular point in time. It's a very unsettled period of time. October marks a bit of a change in Europe. So you start to see a lot of these rain systems coming through. On the 7th, still more rain in Sweden there. You can see there's sort of this steady flow of weather from the Atlantic across Europe. So here we go, lots of rain in Denmark was reported over this particular period. And you'll see in the northern areas a lot of cloud, and that would have been starting to bring some of the winter snows. If you look within the cloud structures, you can see some areas where the cloud looks quite clumpy or the blue looks very intense. That tends to signify slightly stronger rain. So just in this period, the 11th and 12th of October, there was quite a lot of stronger rain that came to the UK, bringing quite a lot of showers, and that would have brought little bits of flooding. You tend to get the flooding when there's been a lot of rain already previously in the season, so the ground has a lot of water on it already, so that when new rains come, that is what brings the flooding. At some points in the image you might be able to spot lower cloud, so it won't be blue, that doesn't seem to move very much. And that tends to be indicative of fog. Later on in the month we'll start to see some more of that. And there you go, very large fog and low cloud patches over Western Europe, sort of in this middle time period. This particular time there was actually a tornado reported in Ireland that was associated with this weather system now. You won't be able to see the tornado. The resolution of the satellite will be lower than the size of the tornado itself. But that was a rare but destructive event that occurred in Ireland at this time. This particular phase, we're now moving into what was a very warm phase for the time of year, and you can start to see a lot of the clouds. They're moving a little bit to the north, so they're coming around the UK and then going up into Norway. So there must have been some form of area of high pressure in southern Europe, which would have kept those cold winds and that cold air away from us and kept us nice and warm for a period. So many of us experienced temperatures of sort of 20, 21, 22 degrees, which might have felt unseasonably high. It's actually not too uncommon for the time of year to have some periods like that. So you can start to see some of this stationary low cloud, which signifies fog in the region. So a lot of cloud over Central Europe and the southern UK. The people who really pay attention to this are pilots and aviation users. This would have caused a lot of disruption in Europe for flights, as fog does have quite a huge impact on the number of flights that can operate at any one particular time in order to keep air navigation safe. And now we start to move to the cold spell, we start to get the wind coming back, and we'll start to get the first snowfalls of the year. So you can see the flow of cloud coming from the north, so very cold, and having travelled across the sea, very moist. Very high probabilities of bringing snow, there we go, to Scandinavia. And you can start to see the hills in Norway gathering snow and other places as well. So the snow will look like the ice clouds, but it doesn't move. It's sitting there on the hills. So you'll see some of that in Norway and some of that in Spain as well. A lot of cloud coming back. So that nice warm spell that we experienced is now gone. All the weather coming in, and this was a very marked change in Europe. We had a combination of two things: cold air from the north and moisture coming in off the Atlantic, and these two things combined to give a lot of places little bits of snowfall. So this takes us into the close of the month, and winter has now well and truly arrived in Europe. Much, much colder, much more moisture, and we've started to see our first snows. So many of the skiers were happy, and a lot of us were getting our winter clothes out of the cupboard.